A visit to the shores of lullabies, where Archimedes, counting grains of sand, is seated in his half-filled universe, and sorting out the grains by shape and size. Above his head, a water ceiling sways. Beneath his feet, the ancient magma flows of metamorphic under-earth plateaus are moving in slow motion, all in play, and all is give and take, all comes and goes, and hush now, all is well now, close your eyes. Distant ocean engines pulverize their underwater mountains, coarse to fine, in granite crumbs and flakes of mica gold, and particles of ancient olivine. In water waves sweep back and forth again, materialize and dematerialize, retrieving counted grains and dropping more uncounted grains in heaps along a shore of granite particled infinities, amassing shores for drawing diagrams. Behind him, on the shores of Sicily, his legendary works accumulate, discarded toys, forgotten thought machines and wonderworks dismantled on the sand. A ship reduced to ashes by a mirror. A planetarium in hammered bronze whose heaven rotates, taking its own measure. The fragment of a marble monument, a sphere inscribed within a cylinder, forgotten, overgrown with stems and leaves. A vessel filled with water to the brim to weigh Hiero's golden diadem, but emptied on its side now, overturned. And numbers, fading in papyrus scrolls he sent by ship to Alexandria, approximated ratios glimpsed within the wondrously unlocked square root of 3 in 3.141, a treasure store Marcellus cannot plunder, cannot use, in 1.618, the weightless gold no scales are needed for, no lock and key, ratio divine, untouchable in war. In block and tackle pulleys, water screws, and other spirals, angles, cubes, and spheres. The iron lever rusting at his feet, a relic from the time he told the king assembled with the court, "Give me a place whereon to stand, and I will move the earth." And as he spoke, another earth appeared, one grain among innumerable grains, and nearly weightless as a grain of sand, and high above the giant fortress walls of Syracuse, his mental catapults are hurling mental boulders one by one at Roman warships sinking in the bay. Far off, a shipwreck. Up close, bubble foam sweeps forward on the sand, sweeps off again with remnants of a Roman war machine. Even the Roman sailors, disembarked from sinking ships and rowing toward the beach in lifeboats set afloat from battleships, now sinking in the distance, even they are falling fast asleep above their oars. And undulating ropes slash in the wakes and bob along, the ropes asleep as well, all drifting past the legendary shores where Archimedes counts the grains of sand. It never ends, this dire need to know, this need to see a diagram unfold in silent angles, drawing in the sand, this need to see a diagram achieve self-organizing equilibrium among the microflakes and granite crumbs, this need to fill the universe with sand, and all in play, with everything in play, and every night before he falls asleep in cold and heavy sand, he leans to brush the clinging sand grains from his naked feet. In myriads appear, self-multiply and multiply again. Let this be X, let this be X times X, and let there be more myriads of zeros, grain by grain, in sacks of sand where one by one, more sacks of sand are filled with other grains. Let numbers coalesce and re-emerge unharmed by coalescence and unchanged, and always let a higher number form, and every single number have a name. 10 to the power of the 63rd, a vigintillion grains of sand, times 8, 8 vigintillion, plus or minus 1, a number for the demiurge to ponder, sprawling in his sleep among the bags of sand grains pouring into Syracuse, where Archimedes draws a diagram. It never ends, this dire need to know. Even beneath the smoking sword of war, a Roman soldier raises overhead, mid-thought, mid-diagram, even before he finishes the drawing at his feet, even before he has the chance to say, Let whoever can complete. But then a soldier lifts the smoking sword of war, and he's forgotten what he meant to say. Black heavens, pouring into Syracuse in granite-particled infinities, amass another shoreline at his feet. He falls asleep in cold and heavy sand, and finishes his drawing in his sleep, before the edges of the lines he drew begin to crumble grain by grain by grain, with everything in play. In all in play, a myriad appears, self-multiplies, in waves of water sweep around and through, retrieving counted grains and dropping more uncounted grains, in heaps, in lullabies, where Archimedes falls asleep and sees a grain of sand appear. The final grain. 10 to the power of the 63rd times 8, the sum complete before his eyes. And then another grain is added. 1. A sack of sand tips over, pours away, black heavens pouring out infinities of sleeping islands, sleeping Sicilies, and water waves appear and sweep away forgotten wonderworks and thought machines. And heaven revolves, a planetarium for calculating distances between the heavenly stars and measuring their size, all twirling in slow motion, slower still and slower still, and all is sleep and peace, the universe asleep before his eyes, beside an ocean moving in its sleep. And distant ocean engines pulverize their underwater mountains, course define, and water waves appear and disappear, retrieving counted grains and leaving more uncounted grains in heaps, in lullabies, where Archimedes, counting grains of sand, is seated in his half-filled universe, and sorting out the grains by shape and size. And all is well now. Hush now, close your eyes. And one by one, by one, by one, by one, the flakes of mica gold and granite crumbs materialize and dematerialize.